As we stand on the cusp of 2026, it's more important than ever to take a hard, honest look at the state of education in Nigeria. What are our children learning? More importantly, what are they asterisk, not asterisk learning? And who is responsible for this? Back in 1933, a brilliant historian named Carter G. Woodson wrote a groundbreaking book called The Miseducation of the Negro. He argued that the education system of his time was deliberately designed not to uplift, but to control. It was engineered to keep a whole group of people subservient by stifling their minds and their spirits. Now, almost a century later, his words echo with a chilling relevance right here in Nigeria. It feels like we're living through our own version of this miseducation. Our politicians, the very people meant to serve us, seem to have discovered that ignorance is a powerful weapon. It's a tool to keep their grip on power, to keep the masses quiet, and to ensure the status quo never changes. It's not just a failure of the system, it's a deliberate strategy. They are engineering a state of intellectual darkness, making people easier to manipulate, easier to control, easier to lie to. Let's break down how this weaponization of ignorance works. The entire educational system often feels designed to discourage what matters most: critical thinking and curiosity. It's all about rote memorization, about cramming facts just to pass an exam. Forget about asking why. Forget about challenging the information you're given. The goal isn't to create innovators, thinkers, or problem solvers. The goal is to create compliant individuals who won't question authority. When you have a population that is not taught how to think critically, they become incredibly vulnerable. They become susceptible to propaganda, to half-truths, and to outright lies. State-controlled media, social media bots, and paid influencers can then flood the public space with misinformation, creating confusion and division. It becomes impossible to know what's real and what's not. And what's the result of all this? A total lack of accountability. When people can't analyze complex issues, when they can't see through the political spin, they can't effectively demand transparency from their leaders. Politicians can operate with impunity, knowing that a significant portion of the populace is either too confused or too disengaged to hold them accountable for their actions and promises. The consequences of this nationwide miseducation are devastating, and they touch every single aspect of our lives. First, let's talk about the economy. How can we expect to compete in a fast-paced, globalized world when our workforce isn't equipped with the necessary skills? A poorly educated population stifles economic growth. We can't build a thriving, innovative economy on a foundation of rote learning. We need thinkers, creators, and problem solvers to drive progress, but our system is failing to produce them. We remain dependent, unable to unlock our true economic potential. Then there's the erosion of civic engagement. A healthy democracy relies on an active, informed citizenry. But miseducation creates the opposite: a disengaged and apathetic populace. People feel powerless. They don't understand how the system works, or they've been led to believe that their participation doesn't matter. So they don't vote, they don't protest, they don't demand better. This apathy is not an accident. It's the intended outcome of a system designed to suppress dissent. And perhaps most tragically, this miseducation perpetuates social injustice. When people are not equipped with critical thinking skills, they are less likely to recognize and challenge systemic inequalities. They might accept poverty, corruption, and injustice as just the way things are. They are unable to connect the dots between poor governance and their personal struggles. The cycle of injustice continues unbroken because the intellectual tools needed to break it have been withheld. So here we are in 2026. What do? Do we simply accept this fate? Do we allow another generation to be lost to this deliberate cultivation of ignorance? Absolutely not. This is a call to arms, a call for a new era of enlightenment in Nigeria. We must declare that enough is enough. We must demand an education that liberates the mind, not one that shackles it. We need to prioritize an education that fosters critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and a deep sense of civic duty. This starts with a complete and total reform of our education system. We need to rip out the old model of cram, pass, forget. We need to replace it with a curriculum that values problem solving, creativity, and analytical skills. Teachers need to be trained and empowered not just to be instructors, but to be facilitators of curiosity. Our schools should be places where questions are celebrated, not silenced. But this isn't just about schools. In this digital age, we are all drowning in information. That's why promoting media literacy is non-negotiable. Every Nigerian, young and old, must be equipped with the tools to tell fact from fiction. We need to learn how to spot propaganda, how to check sources, and how to critically evaluate the tsunami of content we face every day online. Being a smart consumer of information is a fundamental skill for survival in the 21st century. Finally, we must encourage and empower civic engagement. A well-educated population is a powerful one. When people understand their rights, when they understand how government is supposed to work, they become a force that leaders cannot ignore. We need to foster a culture where participating in the democratic process is seen not as a chore, but as a fundamental responsibility. We must hold our leaders accountable, demand transparency, and drive the positive change we want to see. The miseducation of Nigerians is the single greatest threat to our future, but it is not an insurmountable one. As we move forward, let us make the education of the mind our #1 priority. Let's commit to building a culture of critical thinking and civic action. It is time to break free from the shackles of ignorance that have held us back for so long. It's time to build a brighter future for ourselves, for our children, and for generations of Nigerians yet to come. The time for talk is over. The time for change is now. Let us rise to this challenge together and demand a new era of enlightenment, one where every Nigerian is equipped to think critically, act wisely, and lead our great nation towards the glorious destiny it deserves. Thank you for watching. If this message resonates with you, please share this video. Let's get this conversation started in every corner of the country. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join us in this fight for a new Nigeria.